This doesn't look much like a forest. We have a single tree in the middle of an empty screen. If I hit F12, you'll notice there's not even any ground beneath it. Now, what we need to do is we need to add some ground and we need to add some more trees. So what I'm going to start off doing is the easy step. I'm going to start off by adding some more trees. Now what you could do is you could quite easily go to your Create tab and you could add some more cubes, you could reshape them, you could do things like that. And I would recommend that at this stage. Add some different sorts of trees with maybe using different numbers of cubes for the foliage on the top. So what we're going to do though is we're going to take the shortcut. We're going to duplicate what we see. So a new tool for you, we're going to use the B key. This draws a box around the shapes. So inside that box I've selected the entire tree. Notice if I do this I also select the lamp. We don't want to have two lamps. So what you need to do is make sure that your box only selects the tree and nothing else. So once I've got the tree selected, what I'm going to do is going to go to my tools over here and I'm going to click on the duplicate key. And as you can also see here, it says shortcut Shift D. So by pressing the Shift key and the D key, I'd get the same feature. But I'm going to click on this button here. Go to duplicate and all of a sudden I have another tree. So I can go put that over there. And again, let's go to duplicate and I'll have another tree and put it over there. And again, duplicate and I'll have another tree and put it there. But notice, they're not all on the same level. And if I use the middle mouse button now to rotate, okay, well those two are looking alright, but this one here is floating and this one here is miles below. So what I need to do is I need to move these around, and you're going to get problems like this as you're doing 3D animation. So get used to moving around with the middle mouse button to see where the trees are. So what I'm going to do is going to take this tree and I'm actually going to rotate it as well. So let's go back to this tree, right click on it, draw a box around it, and now I can actually start to move it. And by clicking on the blue arrow, oops, let's try that again. Clicking on the blue arrow with your left mouse button, I can just drop it down. You can see it's now sitting on the surface. So that's absolutely fine. This one here, more problematic. Let's bring that up. Again, right click on one of them, put a box around it. Using the left mouse button, let's just drag that above the surface, which is there. So what we have now is we've got 4 trees, but they look a bit boring because they all look exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these trees and we're going to try and rotate it. So you're going to look at it from above. Here's the above view, and what we're going to do, well actually I'll deal with this one. I'm just going to hit the rotate key, and when I hit the rotate key I can actually rotate around it, and this is what I want. I want to rotate on this angle, because if I rotate on this angle, as you'll see, it goes the wrong way. So what I'm going to do, go right above it like so, and I'm going to press the R button to rotate, and I can rotate this slightly like that. Now we've got some slightly different trees. Using grab, I'll put that in the center there. Oh, not quite good enough, it's floating a little bit too high. So again, let's move that down like so. Perfect. So I have a small forest of trees. Let's see what this looks like in our render using F12. Okay, so maybe a bit too much shadow there. That's not ideal, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that again very slightly. So we go right above it, I'm going to go to rotate, put it there, and let's see what that looks like. That's a bit better. I can definitely see that it's a tree trunk. So the last thing for this scene is I need to add a ground level. And what I could do, if I go to create, is I could add another cube, but a much easier way of doing this would be to actually add a plane. Now a plane is like a giant square or a rectangle, and we can have everything sitting on this rectangle. So if I click on plane, it adds a plane. But as we've just seen, we may have some trouble here. So using the middle mouse button, you'll see that the plane is very slightly below all the trees, which is really annoying. So using the left mouse button, I can drag it up very slightly. There we go. And it's quite small. So if I go to F12, you'll see the plane's only that big. So what I need to do is I need to make it bigger, and of course to make it bigger we're going to use the S key, the size key, and I'm going to make it bigger like that. Now that looks okay at the moment, but again we may have a slight problem. If I hit F12, you can see very quickly here's the edge of the world. Well, I don't want to see the edge of the world, I want to make this look like it goes on forever. So let's hit escape, let's go back to the S key, and let's make it much bigger. Back to F12, and I'm starting to get a nice scene here. Hit escape. Now this the surface level I don't want to have as just being grey, because no ground is really grey. It's going to be a kind of a sandy grass colour. So again, clicking on your material over here with this circle, go to new, and we're going to pick a nice diffuse colour, which is going to be our main colour, and this is going to be a sandy green colour. I'm going to make it slightly darker. How about that? And if I hit F12, I'll render that out, and that's starting to look like a forest scene.